Hola clase, ¿cómo están? Yo espero que estén muy bien. Hoy vamos a aprender sobre los verbos que cambian en la raíz. The verbs that change in the stem, or stem changers. And more specifically, E to I stem changers. We've already learned E to IE, right? Verbs like tener and querer, preferir, right? How they change in the stem. Not the prefix, but the stem. Um, and so these follow the same rules as the E to IEs. Right? The only difference is they don't change from E to IE, they change from E to I. Okay? The first verb we're going to talk about today is the verb decir, which means to say or to tell. All right? To say or to tell. All right? Again, it is an E to I stem changer, so we're talking about this E right here. All right? It is a normal or a regular IR verb. So our endings, we simply drop the IR. We add O, ES, E, IMOS, because remember it's an IR verb, IMOS, and EN. The endings we should have down pat, right? Sin problema, without any problems. But it's the stem that we need to now be able to change. So this E is going to change to I. Now, the yo form has a slightly irregular form. All right, we don't say digo, it changes to digo, D-I-G-O. All right, this E goes to I. All right, this would be considered a yo-go verb in my book. Right, we have quite a few of these: tener, tengo, decir, digo. There are quite a few, but so yo form, digo. The to form becomes dices. Right, E to I, and then we drop our IR and we add ES. Normal for the to form. El usted dice. Right? Notice in the nosotros form it does not change. Right? Just like the i's. Any stem changers in Spanish, la forma de nosotros no va a cambiar. The nosotros form is not going to change. All right? So it stays decimos. Nosotros decimos. And then it comes back down to the ellos form, dicen. D-I-C-E-N, dicen. All right, you'll notice I have a little outline of a boot. Some teachers like to teach these as boot verbs or shoe verbs. If that helps you, by all means, go for it. All the verbs inside the boot will stem change. The two outside won't. All right, ever. All right, so some examples. Ejemplos. Yo siempre digo la verdad. I always tell the truth, or always say the truth. Okay, yo siempre digo la verdad. Whenever you are going to say what someone else says or what someone else is saying, all right, you're going to have que after the verb decir. All right, you're going to have que after the verb decir. So, for example, nosotros decimos que la clase es divertida. So you would have decir conjugated to the subject, que, and then the rest of the phrase or expression in which you were trying to say. Juan dice que el almuerzo está rico. The lunch is very good. Okay? So you're saying what other people say or what someone says. All right? Decir que. Nosotros decimos que la clase, of course, de español es divertida, right? We say that Spanish class or the class is a lot of fun, okay? So it's the verb decir and then decir que. All right, we're going to transition over to the verb pedir, which means to ask for, all right, and then other expressions or other words that are used with this verb pedir. So pedir is to ask for, or if you're in a restaurant, it can mean to order, which makes sense, right? Because if you go to a restaurant, you're asking for something when you order from the waiter, okay? But this is also an E to IE stem changer and an IR verb. So same endings, right? You drop the IR, O, ES, E, IMOS, EN. No big deal. All right, the E will change to I. So this becomes pido, not pido, right? Pido. Yo pido. I ask for or I order. All right? Tú pides. You ask for, you order. Él, ella pide. All right? He or she asks for or orders. We don't want to ask them, that would hurt. And then up here, nosotros, we do not stem change. Pedimos. All right, stays E, IMOS. And then the last one, piden, P-I-D-E-N, they ask for, they order. Again, notice, all the ones inside the boot or the shoe, those all stem change. The ones outside don't. All right? Un ejemplo, ella nunca pide un refresco. Siempre pide agua. All right? She never orders or asks for soda. She always orders water. All right? So, pide here, both getting conjugated to ella. Okay? Some expressions that we need to know. Right? Expresiones con el verbo pedir. Pedir. All right, so pedir permiso. I apologize if you can't see it or if it's too small. This is permiso. P-E-R-M-I-S-O. Pedir permiso means to ask permission. To ask for permission. Pedir permiso. All right, and permiso is definitely a cognate. All right, also pedir perdón, right, which is to ask for forgiveness, right? If you say perdón, all right, you're usually saying excuse me. So you're asking to be excused or for forgiveness, right? To ask for forgiveness. So pedir perdón. And the last one is pedir prestado. So this is to borrow or to ask for a loan, to ask to borrow something. All right. We don't say may I ask you to borrow in English. We just say can I borrow, right? So pedir prestado, to borrow. All right. Now you want to be careful with pedir. All right. The regular verb and these expressions they are not to get confused with preguntar or hacer una pregunta. So preguntar is to ask a question. All right. It looks like to get pregnant. It's not a cognate in that sense, right? It's to ask a question, or hacer una pregunta, to make a question. But to ask for or to order is very different than to ask a question. Okay? So you don't want to get those two confused. They are very different. Asking a question and asking for something. All right? So pedir is to ask for. Preguntar all right, is to ask a question. To ask a question. It's a regular AR verb. Okay? Definitely don't want to get those confused. As you're going through your exercises and your activities, your assignments, please refer to this as much as necessary. If you have any questions, guys, ya saben, you already know how to reach me, to ask me, to get a hold of me. Espero que esto te ayude. I hope this helps you, and in your learning Spanish. I look forward to seeing you guys here soon in our next Zoom meeting, and nada, hasta la próxima. Chao pues.